Would I recommend that you buy and play Sea of Thieves? No, probably not. See you in the next video. You're still here. Alright then, let's talk about Sea of Thieves and why I feel that way. For those of you who don't know anything about Sea of Thieves, I will now go over some of the features that are in Sea of Thieves. Some of the things you can do in Tree of Leaves include sailing a ship, sailing a slightly bigger ship, sailing a ship that is too big, searching for buried treasure, fighting skeletons, replacing the USPS, fishing, drinking, playing music, drinking and playing music. I like the aesthetic they went with in this game. I like the cartoony over realism kind of style. A well-done stylized aesthetic will look better for longer than some kind of attempted realism. The music is also great. It has that rare feel behind it, even though it's in this kind of pirate theme. I like the game's actual mechanics. Sailing your ship is fun. Sailing your ship with a friend is even more fun.
We're heading straight for a rock.
Yeah, I'm trying. I got it hard left. I'm trying. Having to navigate using maps and a compass makes the game feel a lot more like you're actually searching for treasure and like navigating the oceans. Having to manually adjust your sails and drop anchor at the right times also makes that realism of actually managing a ship feel more, like, interesting. The game at its core is fun. It's everything else around it that really isn't. Every purchasable item is entirely cosmetic. And none of the cool-looking weapons or gear increase your damage or defense, it just makes you look better. Which is apparently a design choice to put seasoned players and noobs on even footing, with the only thing between them being experience. Which I think is kind of a cool concept, but it also makes progression in the game entirely pointless. Why should I go and collect stuff to sell if my only incentive is a nicer hat? Speaking of nicer stuff, if you don't want to spend the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of meaningless tasks it'll take to get enough money to buy new pants, you can just buy them with real money using the Pirate Emporium microtransaction store. The things that you collect and put into your ship's storage containers don't follow over sessions. So if you spend a lot of time collecting food and wood and ammo, and then you log out, that was all time wasted. None of that stuff stays on your ship. Sure, okay, having a ship that you've been playing with for a few days that's been fully stocked, getting destroyed would be like really frustrating. It'd be a really frustrating loss, but having to stock up on the exact same stuff every time you play is just as frustrating. I just want to set off and go treasure hunting without having to also take into account the fact that my boat ate all the food and wood I had stashed in it while I wasn't looking. The game is an absolute grind fest with no reward at the end. You don't get experience to increase your pistol or sword's damage, you get gold that you can use to buy a new cannon that has no in-game advantage. Alright, spree of Crees, I get you want to keep every player on even footing, but a solo noob in a sloop is gonna get their ass kicked by 4 guys in a brigantine. Or, you know, you could just get murdered in cold blood by a random crew member. Sea of Thieves, if you're listening, which I know you're not, because maybe 8 people will ever actually see this. Here are a few suggestions. Make the adventure mode, your PvE, actually mean something. You've already got skeleton ship NPCs, how about adding in trade vessel NPCs that players can pillage? This way you can still act like a pirate and capture these NPC trade ships. Make buying weapons and equipment actually feel like worthwhile endeavors. New cannons should feel like new cannons because they do more damage. A new hull should feel more defensive because it's a new hull. Make certain areas of the sea more difficult so you actually require these upgrades. And then make PvP in the PvE server opt-in. I'm sure these things I'm asking for might be difficult to program and implement, but with the money you're making selling the game at AAA price, future me here, it's actually dropped down a bit. My bad. With microtransactions, I think these kinds of changes are probably within budget.